And we're back here at Bronx Journal with Joseph Lee from the Yankees. Joe, I want to ask you a few questions now on how do you juggle working at the stadium? Because I know you have an actual career. You work as a financial advisor. Is that correct?
Yes.
How do you juggle doing both both careers? Because this is a full-time job for you, obviously during baseball season. I mean, it's very time-consuming. You're at the stadium like 12 hours a day on game day.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me how do you do it all?
Well, growing up, I always wanted to do something regarding, with being in the market or, something with the stock market and stuff like that. I was always interested in that, and I got a finance degree. And
where did you go to school?
Went to Fordham,
okay.
Here in the Bronx. And, coming out of school, I tried to, I wanted to integrate both. I thought to myself, how could I do something that I got this degree in, but also still retain my position at the Yankees? I mean, this job for me at the Yankees, it's seasonal, so I only work the, 81 home games. So, even though it's April to October, it's every other week. But when the team is home, it does get my schedule's jam-packed.
Gotcha.
Where I'm in the office in the mornings, as early as I can be, I try, and and then in the afternoon, if their team is home, I'll go down to the stadium and try to integrate both by, now that I've built up, a small business for myself and work with some of the other people that I work with in the financial advisory business, I can see them at a game. Maybe a client can come to a game and I can visit them while I'm working at the stadium. I'll have, some sort of free time and I can go sit with them for a little bit and,
Let me ask you, do you advise baseball players?
I don't.
About their finances?
No, I don't. I try to keep the two, that way I try to keep the two separate.
Okay.
But, and that's how I did it over the years was, back and forth.
Being that we're talking about, financial advising right now, what kind of advice can you give, our viewers out there, people that are listening, based on the fact, our economy is in such turmoil?
Turning around. It's turning around.
It's
turning around. You have to stick with it. If you're young enough that you can, keep invested. You definitely want to keep invested. You want to be diversified. You want to have someone ongoingly advise you. I wouldn't advise trying to do it on your own. You still want someone to coach you along with this, and if you're looking to retire today or tomorrow, it's a different story. You have to have low risk. But in this environment, it is
what's
tough.
Your advice for people that are that want to pull their money out, or
you have to kind of stick with it. It's definitely turning around. The economy will get better. Everything is so cyclical, and if you read the news and you hear what's out there, there are instances where you hear a little better news. Sometimes new home sales are getting a little better.
So things are getting better.
A little bit.
You think
it's still a
things are turning
long
around?
road.
Okay.
It's a long road. It's certainly going to take longer to recover than the time it took to fall off.
It's like that with everything.
But it's like that with everything.
Exactly.
Hopefully, with if unemployment can come down, great. If more people can work, great. If if the real estate market gets back on its feet, that's all stuff that going forward should help us. Now
let me take a different angle with you right now, because I know, based on, we're talking about financial, the aspect of your job and working at the Yankees. Now, what have you seen about local businesses in the area being affected by the new stadium?
Well, with the new ballpark, the new ballpark itself created many jobs. I mean, there are more people working at Yankee Stadium. I used to think that I knew everybody at Yankee Stadium, either by face or by name. Now I probably don't know half the people. There's so many people. But locally, I think it's brought business to the neighborhood. Certainly it's brought business. There's a Hard Rock Cafe at Yankee Stadium. There's a steakhouse at Yankee Stadium. If you go to any of the restaurants or bars or cafe or the diners near the stadium on a game day, they're jam-packed. They're jam-packed. Not too far from the stadium, walking distance, there's, I don't know what it's called, I think it's some sort of shopping center there, and there's all sorts of new businesses. There's a Target and a Best Buy, and there's an Applebee's there, and there's all sorts of new businesses that were not there 6 months ago. And that also draws people to the neighborhood. It draws people to work there. I mean, that's created a lot of jobs. And I think going forward, you'll see more business come through there. I know that that's happened in a couple of other cities where they built a new ballpark. They built a new ballpark a few years back in the Inner Harbor in Baltimore, and there was nothing going on.
Right.
And now once they built a new football stadium, a new baseball stadium, all sorts of businesses came back.
Wonderful.
Same thing in Cleveland.
Well, what's going to happen now with the old stadium across the way?
From what I know, the new stadium will come down piece by piece. They can't just implode it or anything like that because the subway is right underneath the ground, right next to it, adjacent to the stadium.
That area is too concentrated.
It would be, you know, I mean, I guess the subway would crumble. But so they'll dismantle it piece by piece. I know the seats are out of the old stadium already.
What's going on with all that memorabilia and all you know how everyone wants a piece of the old Yankee Stadium?
You can certainly, if you go online, you can certainly buy anything from the old stadium and stuff from even the new stadium.
Do you have that information offhand right now? Just
the Yankees are partnered with Steiner Sports, and I know
is there a website?
It's SteinerSports.com.
SteinerSports.com.
Steiner.
Okay.
And it's you can get everything from bricks in Monument Park to squares of sod.
Did you get a chance to take a little piece of old Yankee Stadium?
I took a little dirt. I have a dirt in a Ziploc bag. Other than that, everyone kept asking me. Last year, that was a topic of conversation by all sorts of people that worked there. What are you taking? What are you going to take? What are you going to take?
Right.
I didn't know what to take. I wasn't going to take anything really. But so a lot of people, like I saw at the last day we're taking dirt, so I took a handful of dirt. I don't know what I'm doing with it, but I took some dirt.
Excellent.
But
Why don't you tell me a little bit about the players, if you can, since we're nearing the end of our segment here. Tell me a little dirt on what goes on in the clubhouse.
I have no dirt. These guys, they come in real early. Everyone, I don't know if people know that they just don't come in at like 6:30 for a 7 o'clock game and go out on the field and play baseball. They really work hard. I mean, they're working out all the time. All sorts of workout programs, studying film. How they've done it against the team in the past, things like that. They're really not in the clubhouse all that often, unless it's raining.
Right.
Then they come in and they'll play cards or they'll watch a movie.
So you built relationships with the players over the years.
Yeah, and you get to see them from a different aspect than the fans. And you get to know them on a personal level. Right. Over the years, I was very close with Joe Torre, Mike Mussina, and lots of players that come and go. I mean,
what do your friends say about you? Obviously rubbing shoulders with these high-profile celebrities all the time.
Some of my friends really don't bother me about it too much. I mean, because I've done it for so long. Most of my close friends I've known since high school. So, when I'm out with them or anything, they don't even talk baseball. But, it is interesting to be able to see the inner workings of how a baseball clubhouse works. That behind closed doors that that no one really gets to see. Right. Except for players and staff.
Well, let me ask you, where do you go from here? I mean, you have a career in financial advising. You've worked for the Yankees for so long. What's your career path now? What do you see yourself doing?
I like what I do. I love what I do. So I could imagine myself staying pretty much where I am. I would love to grow my financial advisory business as best I can.
But would you like to climb up the ladder of, the Yankees Corporation?
No, I kind of like it underground. We're in the basement, so it's kind of, as lavish as the Yankee clubhouse can be and technically advanced and all that, it's the basement of Yankee Stadium, and so I like it down there. I can't imagine myself working anywhere else but the clubhouse, in Yankee Stadium.
Well, Jolie, thank you so much for coming into the Bronx Journal and, telling us, all the inside scoop about the New York Yankees. And thank you, viewers, for watching, and stay tuned for another edition of the Bronx Journal.